Hello. Salam alaikum. Thank you very much for that warm welcome. It's absolutely wonderful to be here. I have rarely seen an event which expresses such a sense of optimism, unity and diversity, diversity and unity, as this wonderful event here. Coming into the centre and seeing this wonderful mix of people attending a video game, cartoon exhibition, as well as all of you here with all of your families at the GPU event, almost in one building, shows everything that is best about modern Britain. Diverse, tolerant, mixed but cohesive. And this is really needed. That message of solidarity, of hope, of optimism is desperately needed now, at a time when so many people are so worried about their jobs. Are they going to keep the roof over their heads? Are they going to give their family a holiday this year, which they'd hoped? There is terrible fear and anxiety about because of the catastrophes in the international financial system. And let me tell you, if you look at history, at a time of economic uncertainty, too often people have turned inwards. People start blaming others. Prejudice, stereotype, and intolerance often raise their ugly heads at a time of economic insecurity. And that is why it is so important that you send out a message today, this weekend, that we will not allow fear, insecurity to topple into intolerance and insecurity between and within our communities. I'm not a man of faith, but my values are espoused and embraced by all the great religions, not least by your great religion, Islam. Mutual respect, against violence, tolerance, equality before the law. And these are values which are more important now than they've ever been. And I really do delight in the opportunity in celebrating them with you today. There were some people, and I say this not out of anger, not with any relish, I say this out of sadness. There were some people who didn't want me to come and speak to you today. A think tank here in London, Policy Exchange, has been distributing secret briefings against some speakers who you have heard and will hear this weekend. And they suggested that people like me should not come to an event like this. Let me be clear. Of course I don't agree with everything that is said on this stage. Of course I don't agree with the views and opinions of every speaker at this event. But I do believe in free speech. I do believe in an open society where disagreements are aired and expressed, not ignored and suppressed. The best way to undermine a liberal society is to undermine the freedom of expression which we all enjoy, and I will never, ever do that. You don't change people's minds, you don't challenge people's opinions by issuing secret briefings from behind closed doors in an office in London. Now, my party's values, liberal values, are why we opposed the invasion of Iraq, because we believe the international rule of law should constrain the strong as well as protect the weak. It is why we opposed more staunchly than anyone else the recent flawed attempts by the government to increase the period during which we can be detained by the police without charge. It is why we have always taken the lead in Britain in promoting new legislation to defeat racism and to defeat hatred. It is why we have always defended everyone's right to wear and display symbols of their faith. And it is why we have always tirelessly worked for peace and reconciliation wherever war and strife occurs, in Darfur, in Somalia, in Palestine, in Bosnia, in Iraq, in Afghanistan. I was in Afghanistan recently. In my view, winning the peace in Afghanistan is now the greatest challenge the international community faces. The most impressive man I met in Afghanistan was a wonderful man called Mohammed Atmar. He's the Minister for Rural Development. And he told me about how he is handing down millions of dollars, millions of pounds of aid directly to villages and communities in Afghanistan, and asking villages, asking their elders, asking the councils, asking the shuras to decide themselves how they should spend that money. And he was so proud of the work he'd done. And I was so impressed by the work that he had done. Of course, what he's doing is not the only answer. You also need the rule of law. You also need security. But it seemed to me that he was doing something which is a lesson for all of us. You can only build peace by empowering people, the Afghan people, village by village, community by community, to build peace for themselves. A friend of mine said to me this morning before I came here, he said, "You're going to an event to celebrate the Muslim community." And I said to him, "No, I'm not. I'm going to an event to celebrate all Muslim communities." And what I have found so uplifting, is to see the sheer diversity and breadth of everyone here. Muslims from Somalia, Turkey, Indonesia, Pakistan, Iraq, from every continent on the planet. Yesterday, you were good enough to give my very close friend and a very distinguished Liberal Democrat parliamentarian, Simon Hughes, an award for all his work that he has done on behalf of all Muslim communities. And I'd like to thank you for doing that. So I come here, as Simon did yesterday, with a strong message of support from myself and from my party to all of you, a message for peace, for tolerance, for equality before the law, and for mutual respect, so we all together can build the free, liberal Britain we all want to see. Thank you very, very much indeed.